Leica Earthkeeper here, and I have John DeVello with me today. Hi, John.
Hi.
What are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about some advanced exercises for meditation.
I love it. I love it.
It's not something a lot of people talk about, so I thought, well, let's talk about what it feels like and what it looks like so that when you're doing it, you know, by gosh, there it is. That's what they were talking about.
Yeah. And I would say, if you're not meditating, you should be. Everyone should be meditating.
I think, and I will talk about that in a second, a lot of sources are coming out saying, I think we're doing a lot of meditation and we don't call it meditation because I can't go to sleep. I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm staring at the ceiling, my partner may be sleeping, I'm just sitting here, but I'm thinking. Well, by definition, that's meditating.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question is, what would you like to do with it?
Mm-hmm. I like it.
So that's one of the things I wanted to start with was, let's start with the meditative state. You're in that state. You found yourself there because in the middle of the night you woke up, you didn't want to continue a dream you were having, and so you're staring at the ceiling and you're thinking, I want to do something more constructive than go back to that dream. You've already cleared your mind, you don't have things that you're worried about or that are bothering you. You're just kind of staring at the ceiling thinking, well, what do I do now until I fall back asleep? The thing I love about this is you could be, I hope not driving, you could be walking, you can be flying in an airplane at 600 miles an hour. And what amazes me is you're doing that and you're meditating and doing exercises as if you were standing still. Mm-hmm. Einstein's rule of relativity is working well. Mm-hmm. So what can we do now that we're here? Well, the first exercise I want to talk about is called violet screen meditation. If you close your eyes, generally, at the first time you close them, you'll see nothing. This is the physical level, right? There's no light going in your eyes. If you're sleeping in a bedroom at night, it's dark already. That's the lower level. The higher level is you're dreaming. A lot of people call that the mental level. That's where your mind is. That's where your dreams are. You can be active, participating in that, or they could be automatic. There is a layer in between, and some people call it the astral layer, some people call it the etheric layer, some people call it the color layer. The fastest way to get there and start seeing the colors is from the mental layer. If you're trying to dream, or if you're coming up conjuring pictures or ideas, if you're busy, dropping down into the color layer tends to be easier. You can also kind of rub your eyes and you'll see sparks and colors. So one of the first exercises I want to talk about is, what do you see when that appears? Generally, you kind of see globs of colors, and they generally match the colors of the chakras. Personally, I always see the same set of colors. They never change their color. The most prominent one is electric blue. Sometimes it can go to a royal blue. The next higher than that is a blue-pink mixture. It's not really a purple. It looks like tiny little specks of both colors are stirring up, but it's always that color. And then higher than that is, of course, white. And then at any one of these layers, depending on the amount of motion you're feeding into it, you can get sparks of gold. The second thing is the feelings that you're feeling change the amplitude of these colors. The brightness and the amount of color. It's generally on a black background, although I have had it a couple of times on a white background. That was a very interesting day. White is the highest we can do in this physical body. So the first exercise is get that blue color to cover your view. It's great because it's a mental exercise. It doesn't hurt anybody. You're just doing it in your own mind. It's a higher frequency. It's transmitting that higher frequency to the universe. So it's kind of adding to the love and the life of the universe by doing it. You can transmit it. You can send it to other people. You can wrap people in it. You can play with it. They say if you spent all night doing this and you never did fall back asleep, you will be more rested than if you had slept and had REM sleep.
Wow.
And I can tell you for a fact, having done this several times and never fallen asleep the rest of the night, you're very refreshed. So for people who have that trouble, if you don't want to take a pill and you want to try this exercise, there's a good exercise to try. So again, you can be anytime, any place. If it's best not to be noisy, because the noise will interrupt your physical body. You'll have reactions to it, like it'll frighten you or you'll jump or whatever. That's not conducive to these exercises. Sound is very important. It's best not to cross your legs, not to cross your arms. It's best not to be touching someone else if you're in bed with your partner or something like that. That will disrupt your energy flow. So I have always started with the blue. Rare times I start with the purple also, but I always try to move up to the purple. And then when I'm kind of bored with that, I start flushing with white, which is always fun. I mean, it always feels great. Now, I'll warn you of something that might happen. You're transmitting to the universe here. Now, at these frequencies, it's higher beings, so you don't have to worry about protection. But you may start receiving messages and information. Your guardian angel, relatives who have passed on, your higher self, the I am presence, all of the, depending on what your training background is, what the names of these higher beings are, they're in the universe, you're opening yourself up to it. You may start hearing messages. You may start hearing messages of information you've been praying for years and it has never arrived. This is a very open time, so you could be communicating. So this is the first exercise I want to talk about. The second one was a little bit more of sending this blue to other people. You can do it to a person, a family, a country, the entire planet. Saint Germain teaches this. It transmutes lower frequency energy, hate, frustration, despair, into higher frequencies. And he promotes and recommends and suggests that all of us spend as much time as we can doing this, because you are helping the planet, you're helping the universe. So it's something he asks all of us to spend more time doing. Let's see, what's the next topic I wanted to bring down? Please don't, during this exercise, don't think of anger, frustration, hate, because as they come in, if that happens, just blow them away and just say, not now. Because, again, with the sympathetic attunement of the universe, you will start to attract those feelings in other beings, and you don't want that. Certainly not at this time of the night. Okay. It's a good time to pray. It's a good time to pray from your heart, because you're basically in contact with your soul. Your physical body has moved out of the way. The ego has moved out of the way, and this is your soul talking to God. Never sin to not be the angels. We have free will. Best to improve the situation. Ready for answers. Okay. Anytime you get help or information from the I Am Presence, a guardian angel, thank them. There are many books written on gratitude in the universe. Angels don't have an ego like we do, but anyone who has put effort into something on any level of the universe appreciates gratitude and thankfulness. It's the lubrication of the universe. It's like love, it just helps us help you next time. Mm-hmm. So this is something I've always been taught, and it's worked for me too. So there are books and books on it. We can kind of take a break now and change topics for a second.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
First, haven't done in a podcast of like who we are. My name is John DeVella. I'm the author of a book called What's Bunk About Astrology. It's a 49-year summary of research I did into the world of astrology and natal charts, trying desperately to prove that it's a bunch of bunk. There's a couple ideas that I do believe now it's still a bunch of bunk, but most of it, I was not able to prove it bunk. I was able to prove that it works, and it works in every country with every person on this planet. And it's still alive and working today. Been working for thousands of years. My website is astrologyandrelationship.com. No punctuation or spaces. One of the services I provide is a natal chart for one person, two person, and then a comparison of a tight relationship, either a spousal relationship or children, parents, a boss. Why are we not getting along? Why do we do get along on most days, and then some days it's just a stretch? Those kinds of discussions. There are times we do channeling if that's requested. So suggest that website to get in contact and get an appointment. It's easier in person, but it works remotely. That's another concept that when you're doing these things, at these energy levels, these energies are not restricted by the distance squared law that magnetism and light and the physical energies are. So, for example, people that channel beings from other planets or other times, at those levels, the energies are not restricted by the physical laws of our planet. So their world is a little different. They go back and forth through time. It's a different world. So things can happen there that most people have been programmed that, oh, that can never happen. Mm-hmm. So we want to talk about where we are and who we are.
Well, and I definitely think I wanted to say about your book, there's truth in the stars. And I think that as we evolve, more and more people will learn about our own galactic history. And so, like you said, it doesn't matter what country.
Yeah.
Like we're all from the same, we're the same species and yeah, hybrids even.
I had the honor of working in 65 factories around the world, and I met thousands of people in other countries, and we would always start talking about, what's your sun sign, and what's your spouse, and what's your kid, and how's that work? How are you getting along? And and my friend Satoshi Haribi in Japan, we're talking about the same stuff, and it's just absolutely amazed me. I did not expect that a Sagittarian in one time zone is just the same as a Sagittarian in another culture. He's got a different background and language and culture differences, but his basic default personality is the same. Mm-hmm. And they know it. They talk about it there too. It's been studied for thousands and thousands of years. So,
and we're all going to have our own uniqueness and authenticity.
Yeah.
But, when people have tried to tell me, oh, that's just a bunch of baloney, I'm like, no, I actually then can understand their energy better. Once I know what sign they are, I have more understanding of them, more patience for them, because I understand them better. It's helped me understand people and be able to work with people. And, yeah.
So one of the things we wanted to end with is, okay, we started this conversation with you're in the meditative state. Now, there's probably a bunch of people that say, yeah, let's talk about that. And that's a good conversation to have. What if you're having trouble getting into the meditative state? This morning, I was having trouble with it. I was distracted by other things. So, of course, anyone who teaches meditation, the very first thing you want to do is remove stress and other ideas, quiet the mind.
Stimulation too. TV off.
Absolutely.
Radio off.
Sometimes it's best to sit in your car in the garage. Sometimes just go in the basement, turn all the lights off. Sensory deprivation. There are many techniques. Sometimes we just snap right into it. Sometimes it's a struggle. With all of this stuff, it works better if you're not trying to do it.
Yeah.
You have to get out of the way and let it just happen.
Effortless.
One of the biggest lessons students go through is doing that, not trying to force it or trying to make it happen. That never works. absolutely the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. My mother used to teach us, if you're boggled down with things in your mind, get up, get out of bed, write it all down. And I've always done this my whole life. Just write it down, tell yourself, look, it's there, it's important, I'm going to do that, I'm going to put it in my schedule, but right now I want it out of my head. And I don't know of any educational system in this arena that does not teach exercises of how to accomplish that. Because if you can't quiet your mind and control your mind and close out the world, it's the basic saying that an unexamined life is not worth living. And I don't remember, Jefferson has been given credit for that, and Ben Franklin has been given, I don't know who it was, I believe it was one of the founding fathers, but it's a very old saying. And to me, that's the foundation. You have to be able to control your mind, quiet it, and do what you want to do with it. Same with your body. That's an even bigger challenge. You're not hungry, just be quiet. But I'm hungry like a little child, right? Okay, then fine. Now I have to go to the bathroom, right? Teach them to just, hey, for right now, give me 5 minutes, give me 15 minutes. Well, that's another thing in meditation that you're going to find once you start doing these experiments is time is something totally different. The one that personally that frightens me is because I spent so much time in manufacturing, and I have appreciation for all of the work and time that goes into and equipment that goes into producing a product. When I'm in a store and I'm surrounded by tens of thousands of products that people put out, I mean, I know how much work it takes to put every single one of these on the shelf. The barcodes and the printing and the packaging and the approvals from the government and all that stuff. It's just I just have so much love for it, And then I see some person say, "Well, I'll take 2 of those." It's like, oh yes, it'll take 2 of them. It's great. I'll start getting into that white, and I'll start kind of floating and get light footage. It's so happy, and I'll check out like that. But before I walk to the parking lot to the car, I'll have to calm myself down because you definitely do not want to drive in that state. So everything's fine until you start the key. That's when stop, come back down, get centered here, get local, and then let's not get into an accident.
Right. I like it.
Well, I think that's almost everything on my list.
That's a good one. It's fun. I got self-inquiry.
Yeah. Where are you going? Yeah. What's my projects?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't force it, let it happen.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you so much for this, John.
Thank you for having us in our homes.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We hope you have a great day and tune in again.